look, we got to talk about it. It is the quarterfinal against Spain and Switzerland. And here's your spoiler alert. Spain coming out on top, defeating the host nation Switzerland 2-0. But it wasn't an easy feat. And we're going to chat a little bit about what that all means. The goals in this one really not coming well into the second half, just past the hour mark. And some really exciting tactical stuff, I think, in that first half that made everybody, raise their eyebrows in a very kind of pleasant surprise kind of way, because we all were kind of riding that upset high from the other day with Italy kind of breaking through, and so folks were like, hey, is there maybe going to be that possibility for Switzerland, going up against Spain? Talk about what could have been a massive upset, but they definitely, tested the 2023 world champions for sure. Let's just hop into maybe Spain's first opportunity here to kind of make a statement, because it's going to present a larger conversation at hand here with the Euros. We're talking about missed penalties. So here's Spain, the leading, one of the co-favorites at this point in this tournament, maybe depending on the day of this tournament, are the sole favorites. 2023 World Cup champions, and they get an opportunity early in this first half. And Caldente steps up to try and can convert this, but goes just wide. And it becomes another part of this statistic that we've seen at the Euros. And if you haven't been keeping track, that's, shout out to Opta Joe, that's 50% of the penalties that have been missed at this point, because it's about 24, 12 have only been made. So it's literally a 50-50 chance at this point, at this rate in the Euros, that if you get a penalty opportunity, you literally may or may not convert this thing. Cupo, talk to me a little bit more about maybe some of the historic, maybe the sad history that we're watching being made at the Euros right now when it comes to pens.
So there comes an impasse where I eventually pivot and go, wait, I think this is the worst we've ever actually seen. And I start digging into the history books. And I did just that. So congratulations, everyone. We are alive in the time and place where we have now hit an all-time high in missed pens in the Euros all time. And by a lot, okay? Right now we're at all in 9 shootout misses and 2 regular in-match misses, bringing us to a total of 11, okay? Now, if we run it back, we have the most misses from shootouts in 2016, that was 7. That's all in for that tournament. Okay, so there wasn't any in-match that happened. And then behind that, we have 2013, where there were 4 in-match missed pens. And then in 2020, fewer than 4 missed all in. So this is absolutely bananas to me, because I started to think back, like, what is the catalyst for pens being so bad? Like, that's 101 technique that you are taught and have to learn. And granted, some people never get good at taking pens, but they usually get pulled off of taking pens for that purpose.
Yeah.
But when you have a Spain team with Caldente and Putellas missing pens in match in the same game, that's what do you make of that, Lori?
Bonkers.
Yeah, it's a good question. We've been talking about this because after covering that awful penalty kick shootout yesterday, where there was just like, sorry to say it, yeah, it was, and also I get there's tired legs, there's tired minds, all of those things, but I mean today was so strange. I don't know. I really don't have an answer for it. Just in the situation of like, okay, you maybe could come down to pressure, but not really. I mean, these players are playing in top leagues, right? The Spanish team in particular played in the World Cup final. They've gone through these situations where they played in front of a lot of fans. So it doesn't necessarily feel like that's the case. It's just nobody practiced penalties. Well, actually, let me just take a step back. That supposedly was a situation with Sweden. They were asked about that, Gerhardsson, their coach, and he was like, oh, we didn't practice them because we don't know who's going to be on the field, which I find, if that's the case, just like astonishing, because that is the primary thing that can win you these games, and that's what lost them this tournament. So, or at least not advancing. So that's a whole nother conversation. I don't really know what it is. It doesn't feel like pressure. It just feels like kind of like a lack of confidence or something, because you can see the run-ups where it's just like Caldente's in particular. It was like, that just doesn't feel like there's like a lot of confidence behind that. Putellas was just a poor hit, right? It was easy for Payne, but those were the style that Putellas put in, or her shot, was very frequent that we saw in the penalty kick shootout yesterday too. That type of penalty kick. So yeah, I don't know. It's strange. It is strange, and
we need to put this in the lab under a microscope and let it be studied. Like, get the petri dish ready.
Yeah. For the folks listening, we were cracking jokes, and we were just kind of like off camera, and we were like, it's just too beautiful. It's just simply too beautiful in Switzerland, and everybody's getting distracted by all the incredible views.
100%.
They're just not converting these pens. But it was an absolute missed opportunity. And I think when you've got the knockout rounds in front of you, it's that tournament resetter. Like we got to see all of these incredible goals, a record set for amount of goals scored in the group stage. But when you get to knockouts, like those stakes just get that much higher, right? And so maybe that different level of pressure or high intensity sets in, and we get to see what we saw with Sweden and England, and today with Spain. And I mean, we're talking opening 10 minutes of the game where this team has the opportunity to really take control of this game and maybe try to sit in cruise control a little bit, because we have seen this Spain team do that in the Euros. They take over the game and then they just control it the rest of the way. That wasn't necessarily the case here. And Lori, I'd love to go to you on this, because it almost sort of feels like this penalty gets missed and you just see Switzerland get so amped up. I mean, these players are rowdy. The fans and the energy is like they're feeding off of it too in the arena. And it sort of kind of dictates the momentum shift a little bit. Mm-hmm. It takes Spain a little while to steal some of that back.
Yeah. No, I agree completely. It gave them a lifeline. And one of the things that we were saying coming into this game, I know Studio said it too, but like that has been a theme against Spain throughout, is if you're the opposition, you cannot concede early, because then you're chasing, right? And it plays right into their hands. You have to open yourself up defensively. And we were saying for Switzerland in particular, they have been their best when they are in transition. And I felt like because that gave them a little lifeline, they found another level of like, we're all going to defend together, we're going to disrupt, we're going to do whatever it takes, and then try to find some moments where we can like at least be a little bit more direct and catch Spain out. We didn't see that much in terms of their attack in the first half, but I thought they defended, gave themselves enough of a good position to go into the second half and then start to open up a little bit more. Pilgrim was excellent. But yeah, I mean, missed penalties, the littlest details. That's what it comes down to now in this tournament, knockout stages, because everything's on the line. So, and maybe that's where a little bit of the pressure does come in. Everything's more heightened, right? There's more visibility. The quality of play is higher. Everything is that much better. But yeah, I thought that little lifeline was enough to get the crowd even behind this team on another level and just provide that like extra oomph that they needed to at least carry them through like 60 minutes of that game.
Yeah. I mean, the hour mark, right?
That like Spain, for what it's worth, and as good as they are, they underperformed this match too. They had just under, I think, 6 touches in Switzerland's box on average. And so like the goal potential should have been so high, but also like the conversion rate this should have been a much higher scoring match. And I think that if it weren't for a lot of Switzerland's efforts defensively, it could have been a bloodbath. But I think they came out with moxie, which there's no measurable quantity for that, or it was quality. Like Switzerland didn't come out scared. I thought that they played a pretty decent match for what could have been, and their fans are phenomenal. Like I just want to hang out with the Switzerland fans for a while. They just are absolutely roaring on the between the march, but also like the roaring that you're picking up. And like I know that not everybody has been in stadium where it's been that loud, but to hear it that loud across the airwaves and on a broadcast from my sofa, it had to be deafening in stadium.
I have to imagine that if you're, if you're the home side and you've already at this point, you're part of that march, you're a fan, you've been probably up really, really early to get in on this, sitting 0-0, 0-0 at halftime, you got to wonder like, okay, second half, anything could happen here. And credit to the home side and the home fans. They kept the energy going throughout 100%. But again, bringing a little bit of what we were talking about off camera, Cupo, I was like, man, like we're hitting this hour mark here. We're just tick past it. Like, surely some sort of breakthrough has to happen here. And it comes by way of game adjustments. Like, we see substitutions start happening, and it's El Castillo who gets the breakthrough for Spain. Incredible goal. Claudia Pina as well goes ahead and gets a go-ahead
that whole
goal.
game. I feel like for her, it was only a matter of time.
Mm-hmm. I loved it so much for this player because I feel like Pina's been doing a lot of kind of thankless work, for Spain. If she's not opening the pockets of space or making that connected pass or setting up the assist for the actual assister, like, I guess getting on the score sheet, in the group stage, but now in this quarterfinal, I was just like, goodness gracious, like, you love to see the hustlers finally like get a little bit of that credit for it. So getting that go-ahead goal was massive, although it didn't come without, again, a little bit of controversy. Cupo, there was some argument. We saw some reaction from the Swiss players there about the official, the spacing, the timing. What did you see on the play?
Yeah, I mean, I understand that the clarification that we got via the referee was that if the ball is touched, then it would result in a drop ball. I feel like there's a little bit more room for interpretation there because that is what you're tasked with as a referee, it's your interpretation of the rule. I feel like if there's enough of an obstruction, and I have had this happen before, granted, not in Euros, where there's just a ref in a bad spot where you either are obscured where you can't see or you can't step into that space fast enough and something unfortunate happens. For me, I would absolutely be livid, and I don't blame them for the reaction that they had, but I absolutely just abhor the perspective of they're just trying for anything at this point. Like, it's an excuse, it's whatever. No, like, when you're in the heat of a game, it's all go, go, go. When you have to restrict your movement for whatever reason, if there's a ref in the way and they need to at least step back or have a consideration of, okay, let me drop ball here and give them the benefit of the doubt. If that run of play is going to end up happening, Spain's going to convert anyway. For me, that was just a call. I also had an issue with the dog so call later, which I thought was a bit much, but
yeah,
so
we were saying, like,
are.
listen, that is the law, right? Like, it is like she's the last player. Credit to Paruelo and putting them in that position. And one of the few threats I feel like that give Spain that directness. But at the same time, like, I was also like, well, that's just a bummer, right? It's just like, I feel like it is one of those ones where you could have let it go, but at the same time, it is the law. But yeah, the one with Velti was so strange as well. And it's just like, sometimes it's at the smallest little details. Because one of the things I always think of too is, yes, it could be a drop ball, but also the ref is part of the play. Like, we saw yesterday, was like two plays in that England-Sweden game where the ref got taken out. And like, I was like, whoops. And like, so it's just part of it, right? So you're just kind of like, all right, well, you're in the way. It's like another player. That's how you kind of think of it. And I felt like that.
Yeah, I'm like, hey, if I feel like the ref is D'ing up on me, it's fair play. Okay.
Game on, right? That's the energy. Like, that's kind of what I wanted to see. I kind of wanted to look for that a little bit. Like, maybe the other way for the Swiss, like, try to utilize it.
If you do step into that space and an altercation happens where the ref ends up, I don't know, head up, bottom down, some sort of arrangement of anatomy that isn't typical on pitch, like, what are the repercussions of that? Because
the repercussions are the goal.
You got to move, like,
corner goal that was world class.
Yeah. You're like the freaking screamer that Pina went ahead and scored.
30 minutes. 30 minutes.
No, hold on.
Like, let's go.
Hey, we can't hit penalty kicks, but give me a ball on top of the box. I'll freaking hit a top corner or bender. Okay, call it a game.
That's what the game. Yeah, that's exactly what the game was giving me. At one point, I was just like, oh my god, it's just gonna be some absolute screamer from 40 yards out. But look, Spain doing what they do. They have shown that they are not only a good team, but they are a deep team. I think that was on full display today, and the things that they were presented from the opposition and how they kind of broke through the combination, right, from a player with that impact off the bench, one of your bona fide starters at this point in Pina, also like making herself a key figure. And I think now, as we spin it forward and look ahead, Spain is through to the semifinal. And the other thing that happens in knockout rounds is you get presented these challenges along the way. The other team on the other side are playing for the exact same things. They want to advance. They want to eliminate you and move on to the next one. And so now that they've been presented with maybe some interesting challenges from Switzerland, now they have to look ahead. They are going to await the winner of France and Germany. What does this mean moving forward for Spain? Cupo, in terms of matchups, what's your dream matchup here? Do you want to see Spain go up against a France or a German side?
That's a good question. You know what? Let's see them against France. I feel like France, for what it's worth, has, I feel like, turned a corner in a lot of ways. They have a little bit of defensive ironing out to do, but I feel like they're a more whole squad right now than we can expect of Germany. That's not a knock on Germany. I think that they've just kind of been shown for all the deficiencies that they have that we haven't seen in the past. They're not their strongest. I think that France, with a good game plan, have the talent and the organization now, at least, to sort of give them a run for their money.
Yeah, I'm with you. I'd love to see France as well. I think they are building something very special themselves as well along the way through these Euros. Lori, you've been covering these games all throughout the tournament. Give us a little teaser here. What do you think we can expect between France and Germany in the next one?
Great question. I'm going with France as well to make this the semis against Spain. I don't know. I love this team's attack. I love their midfield. My questions for them, much like Spain, are still in the back, right? The organization, they've had to play a lot of young players due to injuries, due to their coach decided not to bring Wendy Renard, one of their most experienced players ever. So there are some questions still there for me, but I mean, listen, if they get past Germany, I'm thinking the Spain-France is like, what is this going to be 4-4? Like, this could be outrageous.
Yeah.
I mean, it could be one of the best semifinals ever. Yeah. Just given that both of these teams want to attack, the amount of numbers they can send forward, and just the quality that they have. So, yeah, really would be looking forward to if that was the semifinal.
Yeah, I think it's gearing up to, maybe we're manifesting things here. And I see y'all in the chat. Folks are like, we want to see Spain and France. We'll see what's going on here. But that's really what you want to see in these types of tournaments. You want to see the teams that are really putting it all out there in the field, putting it all together at the right time. And I think that could be a really juicy kind of semifinal. So we'll see if that's what comes to fruition. We'll see it. And we'll also see maybe there's another upset in the mix